I have the power. All right, now that that's out of the way, we can actually talk about this movie. Did Masters of the Universe suck? Hell no. It was actually a really good movie. I came in there with very low expectations. It blew me out of the water. We'll get into the pros, the cons, the plot of the movie, spoilers, obviously. Let's talk about, the beginning first. This is not your grandpappy's movie. They say piss and ass and He-Man and Skeletor kill people left, right, center. There is bloodshed. And like I said, it was good. I'd give it, a rating at the end of this video. Let's get into the cons first. It was made by a giant corpo rat, Amazon Studios, which is not great. It leads to a lot of product placement, and some of the CGI is pretty bad, but overall it's passable and, dare I say, a fun time. I wish they had more Battle Cat in the film. I'm a big Battle Cat guy, but I'm glad with what we got. Maybe we'll see him a little bit more in the sequel, but who knows if we'll even get a Masters of the Universe 2. There was a lot of Marvel quipping, a lot of Marvel humor. You know how it's really just like silly one-liners that a lot of people would just pass over, scroll through their phone. But it fits the movie well, honestly. The ship designs are a little bit of a reskin from Dune and other action movies, but for the world, it fits. I really liked a lot of the set designs. I liked that He-Man was buff as hell. When the sets were real, like I said, they were really, really cool to look at. Jared Leto as Skeletor blew me out of the water. Very, 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 very great performance by him, and I was laughing the entire time that he was on screen. The fighting was great. A lot of slow motion Zack Snyder like punches. Poo, poo. He-Man gets a really good fight scene at the end of the movie. The music is great, straight out of the shows, the movies, the earlier movie. Dolph Lundgren had an appearance, and the theater loved that. So let's go ahead and get into spoiler territory. If you haven't watched the movie already, I would say watch it and then come back to that. But for those of you who don't really care, let's go ahead and get into it. So to open the movie up, we see the backstory of the Sword of Power. For all the plebs who have never seen the OG content, it's really cool to see Eternia brought to life. After that, the colors are really good. The CGI, like I said before, it's shaky in some parts, but whenever it's conveying the story, especially in the dark, it looks really good. Adam is a pipsqueak. It's great. He just gets ruthlessly bullied all the time by Dad, by T-Law, by Man-at-Arms. Everybody just bullies the shit out of Adam. It is honestly very funny. Wartime happens. Skeletor invades home. Trapjaw and Man-at-Arms fight. That looks great. We see Skeletor as Jared Leto, and it's really funny because honestly, every time I see Jared Leto on screen, my eyes roll into the back of my head, and I immediately start to feel like I'm losing blood. I don't know if it's because of his role in Morbius. It just starts sucking all the plasma out of my blood or whatever. But Jared Leto does great the first time he's on screen. He is very menacing. He's very ominous. His Skeletor is a little bit funny, which I heard that he kind of dove into the more laid-back, humorous parts of Skeletor, which I really appreciated. So anyways, he comes in and he takes Adam's dad. Adam ski-daddles into a portal and gets told not to lose the Sword of Power. And immediately upon going into the portal, when you know it, loses it because kids are dumb. We cut to the real world 15 years later, and Adam explains his backstory. And all of this turns out to be a backstory that he's telling to his first date. And he's saying that the magic is held in a vessel like the sword, but it's like a Coke in a Coke can. And that he really specifies Coke. And again, this is like kind of the first part of the product placement that we see in the movie. He's super frat guy coded. You get a lot of bros and a lot of dude and like, what? Like, he's very, very funny, honestly. Nicholas Galzatine, however you pronounce his name, he did fantastic. His work sucks. He works at HR, but we finally get the line, "I have the power to be the best version of me I can be." It's a little bit of a good tease for the original line. He gets called into HR, and he's looking up swords online. He's like kind of scaring people in the office. It's really, really funny to see that this dude is just living a regular life, and he's like schizo posting. He's like telling people about how he needs this sword to survive. It's his destiny. It's his birthright. So someone texts him on his phone while he's in the middle of HR meeting and says, "Hey buddy, I got your sword for $300. And at this point, you get to see a little bit more of the like penis jokes in the movie. Like I said, this isn't your grandpappy's He-Man film. There's a lot of like boob jokes and wiener jokes, and they say ass And so it's a little bit different than the Saturday morning cartoons that you're used to. So anyways, he goes to a comic book store and steals the sword because it's in the shop. He can't buy it. He gets arrested for stealing, and when he's getting driven by the cops, the meme, that meme song, "What's Going On?" plays, and he's getting chased by monsters, and he literally says, like, "What's going on?" It's a good little treat. During this scene, I wrote a note here. Monster gets hit by an Amazon truck to let Tila and Adam escape. Bro, actually, what the fuck? I was more surprised that they would just have blatant Amazon product placement, but then again, I think about War of the Worlds and stuff like that, how that awful movie was made by Amazon. And you know what? If it was just this one time, I would have let it slide, but with the Coke can and different things that were in the movie, I kind of blue screened for a little bit and was just like, whatever, dude. Whatever, man. We get to Eternia. We finally return to Eternia, excuse me. And it's really cool to see it all barren. Like, it's a wasteland. Everything's all dirt and dust and ruins. And it really reminds me of the show whenever I was a kid, you know. Everything's a lot of gray, a lot of blues, a lot of purples. You know, I mean, it's the kingdom of Grayskull. It makes a lot of sense. I wrote down this little line that I thought was really funny. It kind of goes with the whole, like, tongue-in-cheek comedy that's in the movie. Adam looks out of the ship and goes, "Why is it all gone?" And Tila says, "Because Skeletor is bad." And he responds with, "I'm not even kidding. There's gotta be more to it than that." And he's like fully crying. And she just looks at him and goes, "He has a skull face." And to me, I doubled over laughing. I don't know why, but some of the comedy in this movie just like hit the right way. And then I don't know if it was supposed to be tongue-in-cheek, but everybody took it very seriously. And I think that's what made the movie kind of hit for me. He kind of explains why Adam explains why all of the names that he came up with, like Ram Man and Mecha Neck and Fisto, and it's all because he was a kid that got teleported out of Eternia, and he's going to tell all these stories to his classmates. I thought it was a really cool reason for the canon names, and I just thought that was really cool. We pick up drunk loser Man-at-Arms who's in prison, and at this point, I low-key forgot Idris Elba was playing Man-at-Arms. He looks like so different. I thought it was like Ron Funches for some reason. He delivers such a comedic performance that it kind of mixes that character that he had in Suicide Squad. I can't remember what it is right now, but I might edit it in later. Adam goes up to Trap Jaw, and this is the first time he's like really kind of getting the confidence to kind of fight. And he goes like, "Hey, whoa, wait." And I really like that personally because it's a real classic frat guy intervention, you know. The drunk frat guy goes up there and he's like, whoa, man, it's all good here. The sorceress comes down and tells him to use the sword, which is very, very cool. You know, it's very, again, it's very Saturday morning cartoony. It's like, "Adam, say the line, the power of Grayskull, I have the power." And let me tell you what, as soon as he gets this power, his clothes removed for pretty much the entire movie. This man is butt booty naked, and dare I say, he looks great. His thighs are massive. This dude put on mass in order to play this role, and I really appreciated it. He looked like a WWE superstar from the 80s. I don't know if he was on any tests or anything like that, but ooh, man, he is ripped. His outfit looks great. Again, his legs were crazy thick. Even Skeletor had the hots for him. Skeletor, Evil Lyn, all the villains were like low-key horny during this entire movie. So yeah, anyways, Adam kicks Trap right in the nuts. Again, that's a lot of cock jokes, a lot of penis jokes. Skeletor is tweaking at this point. He's like, "Give me that sword. I want that sword. It's mine. And he literally says that. He's like, "I want that sword. Give me that sword. It's mine. And he's like, kind of like tweaking about it. And then he kind of collects himself. Again, Jared Leto is really knocking it out of the park this entire movie. He's just horny for this sword. He's groaning and he's moaning for it. He's like, he's sitting around. We're almost getting the Saturday morning cartoon Skeletor, which I really liked. He gets told by a swamp guy that Adam took off and now has the sword, and he just straight up fucking kills this guy. He turns him into goop. He's melted into the floor. I was jaw on the floor. They, again, ruthlessly execute people. It is not like, ha ha, he fell off a cliff. They kill people. It is very, very wild. Man-at-Arms gets his swag back. He gets his suit back. He's still like an alcoholic piece of shit, though. Skeletor at this point conjures the stars and calls out Adam to a one-on-one duel. And he's like, at the end of it. He's getting really close to that classic laugh. Like, really, really close. I think that they were kind of toying with it. And I really wanted it to just go, like, full tilt in the end. Never really happens. We finally get He-Man. You know, at the end of the movie, we go to Snake Mountain. It's a great design of the lair. We finally get He-Man being He-Man, just like actually fighting like rooms full of dudes. There's a guy who's on the ground. He's like, no, and he has a mace on his arm or something like that. He rips the dude's arm off, grabs the ball of the mace head, and just fucking baseball throws it at somebody right in the chest. He grabs his legs and spins him around like a helicopter, just beating the brakes off of people. Genuinely a fun action scene that was really well choreographed. Triclops looks kind of cool. In my opinion, he's kind of like the Boba Fett in this movie. He's just like this assassin with a rifle. He's always like, pew, pew, and just nailing his shots. And they only use like 2 of his eyes, though. I don't think they use like all 3 of his Triclops, but it was cool. I liked seeing him. I'm a big fan of these dumb characters. We finally get to the dad, and it turns out that the dad's been alive this whole time. Skeletor didn't kill him, and Adam's about to take out Skeletor, and he gets stopped with Evil Lynn's magic, and Evil Lynn is like super horny, dude. Like, she's looking him up and down. She wants this dude's meat. It is crazy. He-Man, with the power of Grayskull, breaks out of this magic and kills his own dad. It was kind of upsetting. I'm not gonna lie. It was very. I didn't want Dad to die. Okay. So at this point, you know, He-Man's knocked out. Skeletor gets the sword. He says the line, "By the power of Grayskull," and nothing happens. And he's like, "No, what the heck?" And he storms down the stairs, and he starts like DVing Evil Lynn. He's like, "You gotta figure out why." And she kind of likes it. I'm not gonna lie, she's like into getting choked. It's a very odd scene, but again, it's very like weirdly sexual between them two. They have like a Harley Quinn Joker dynamic. Adam gets thrown in prison at this point. Obviously, you know, he gets knocked out. He assembles the Masters of the Universe team, and he tells them all like their names that he came up with as a kid. So he's like, "Oh yeah, you're a Ram Man, you know, because you look like a ram and you are a dude." And then he looks at Fisto and he's like, "Yeah, I named you Fisto because you fist people." That's literally what he says. He says that he fists people, so that's why he named him Fisto. And honestly, they all kind of take it on the chin. They're like, "Yeah, I do fist people." We finally get to meet Cringer the cat when he's all grown up, so Battle Cat. He has I don't know who he's voiced by. Excuse me. He is voiced by a boy, I'm assuming. He's a very sweet sounding cat. I would love to hang out with this guy. He looks hilarious and very dirty. He looks like covered in grime, but I really messed with the design that they came up with for him. Some of the shots from the side look really, really fake, but I think that's just because, like, it's a dude riding a giant tiger. I don't think that it's gonna look good no matter what. At the end of this little prison scene, he hits a, "How much do you guys bench? Like, do you even lift, bro?" And again, it kind of buys into the whole thing that Adam is like this, like, kind of quasi-frat bro who's very angsty. He's kind of like the best of both worlds, you know what I mean? At this point, it's time to go kick ass and take names. There's a huge CGI fight that's about to happen, and everybody's getting ready to fight. And the choreography is actually really good. Everyone's getting their ass beat. We're moving on. Fisto and Ram Man are back to back, and Fisto says, "Give him head, Ram Man." And at this point, it kind of clicked to me that this wasn't a kids movie. Like, this was definitely for kids of the 80s and 90s and even early-ish 2000s to grow up and watch a movie that kind of grew up with them. And it was good. It was good, I'm not gonna lie. So the second round of Trapjaw and Man-at-Arms fight happens, and it is super quick. Idris Elba just beats the fucking snot out of this dude. He, in fact, rips open Trapjaw's mouth and just shoves a grenade in there and blows him up. Dude is on demon time, like actual demon time. Skeletor breaks into Adam's mind while he's, 1v1ing him and starts just going through, like, world after world after world, and it's a really cool moment where he teleports to the gym where we see Dolph Lundgren from the beginning of the movie. And Skeletor's like dripped out in Nike, and he's like, man, you fucking are always gonna be weak. You're just a loser. And then boom, it snaps to the first date scene, and he turns out to be the first date. He's dressed up as the lady, and then boom, we go to HR, and Skeletor comes in, and he's like dressed in like plaid and has a coffee, and he's just beating the hell out of Adam over and over again. And at this point, he comes back to reality and gets stabbed by the broken sword of power that got broken because, you know, there was a huge magical fight. While the sword broke, though, the sorceress transferred the magic into Adam from a child because, yeah, I don't know. Tina tried to explain that part to me. All I got was that the sword turned out to leak the magic into Adam, so Adam is now the vessel. And he finally says the line, I have the power, and at this point the movie just like cranks to 11, and it was great. Evil Lynn is just looking drooling at this guy. Adam tries to yap it out and end the whole fight, like literally right after he says I have the power, and he's like, dude, listen, we could go and fight like this for years and years, obviously referencing all the, you know, no conflict resolution that they've had over the years and years of them battling. And so Skeleton just straight up calls him a boob. He's like, you insolent boob, or something like that. And dude, I'm telling you, Jared Leto might have redeemed himself in the eyes of myself and all of, you know, movie fans out there. This role unlocked a side of Jared Leto that I did not know he had. So anyways, he's bashing on Adam over and over again. He's like, you don't know how to control the power. You're too weak to use it even. And then he's like, oh yeah? Well, actually, I'm pretty freaking strong. And he just beats the brakes out of him and then stops, and then, you know, he's on the ground, Skeletor's on the ground, he's like, no, wait, please, let's talk. And he's like, the time for talk is over. And he beats the fucking hell out of him. It's all slow motion. His jaw's getting cracked side to side. And then he hits him with like a supersonic punch and explodes Skeletor. He fucking demolishes this guy. It is awesome. We cut to, you know, everything's good, everything's fine. He-Man's finally wearing the original outfit from the show, and it looks great. Again, this dude is jacked, like naturally jacked. I'm gonna put quotations around naturally because I don't know, it doesn't look like a CGI body. He actually calls himself He-Man. He finally admits to him calling himself He-Man. He's like, it's a strong and manly name. It's just macho, you know. And he runs off, you know, just like the cartoons, and he's like, oh man, I gotta call He-Man, you know, like Peter Parker calling Spider-Man. But everyone in the circle is like, dude, we all know that Adam is He-Man, right? Like, he literally just told us he's not gonna go change while we don't look, right? And so they all just kind of pretend to avoid the fact that Adam is He-Man. So it kind of ties again with the original stuff where they just refuse to believe that Adam is He-Man, I guess. Prince Adam is He-Man. But he calls himself He-Man, and he rides off with a fully armored battle cat. And at this point, my goose was getting cooked. I was very, very happy. My insides were about to be outside. I was just genuinely over the moon. My boy Orko came out at the end, and it is a dead ringer. Literally, final scene was Orko. And it was a great surprise at the end. I wish they added a little bit more characters from the show just like Orko. Like, I don't see why we couldn't have shoehorned Orko in somewhere. But, you know, I'm fine with him being at the end. Overall, was it a fun time? Yeah, dude, it was good. It's another Mattel film. There's apparently another toy film coming out. So they had Barbie, now they did Masters of the Universe. It seems like they're going to be doing another one soon. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Battleship 2, and we'll get to see Rihanna, you know, kick ass in another role. But until then, and until the next movie review, I will see you guys in the streams, okay? See ya.